Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. A lot of folks think men are complicated, but trust me, after all these years on this earth, after talking to brothers, counseling couples, hearing every crazy love story you can imagine, men ain't complicated. They simple. They want what they want, but half the time they don't even know how to say it. That's why I'm here today to break it down clean, clear, and straight to the point. 4 things, just 4 things that make a man look at you and say, Lord, have mercy. Te'ashates the one. Self-value is the foundation that shapes everything about how a woman is seen, treated, and desired by a man. When a woman truly understands her worth, it changes the entire energy she carries into a relationship. Men are naturally drawn to a woman who doesn't hand out her heart, time, or attention cheaply. It tells them that she has standards, and standards create attraction. A man automatically steps differently around a woman who sets boundaries because he feels he has to show up as the best version of himself to qualify. And contrary to what some people think, a real man isn't intimidated by a woman with standards. He is motivated by her. He sees her as someone special, someone rare, someone who cannot be duplicated. When you value yourself, you stop entertaining the wrong people, the wrong behaviors, the wrong excuses. You teach people how to treat you based on what you allow and what you refuse to give space to. That alone makes a man respect you before he even gets the chance to love you. Self-value also means understanding that you are not a backup plan, not an option, not something a man can pick up and drop off whenever it suits him. You become the woman who knows her time is precious. You do not chase, you do not beg, and you do not try to prove your worth to anyone who can't see it. That confidence doesn't come from arrogance. It comes from wisdom, from experience, from the lessons of heartbreak and disappointment. A woman who knows her worth stands firm even when it's hard. She would rather walk alone with dignity than stay somewhere where she is not appreciated. That alone makes a man pay attention, because men know that a woman who values herself will not tolerate inconsistency or half love. She wants effort, respect, loyalty, and clarity, and the right man is willing to give it. When a woman carries self-value, she becomes emotionally expensive in the best way, not materialistic, emotionally expensive. It means her peace is valuable, her presence is valuable, her loyalty is valuable. A man understands that if he wants access to her heart, he has to protect her energy, not damage it, and that changes the way he approaches her. He doesn't play games. He doesn't waste time. He doesn't breadcrumb her with attention. He understands that she requires real investment, time, honesty, consistency, and effort. Self-value turns a woman from just another girl into woman he must earn. When you know your worth, you don't fear losing a man. He fears losing you because he knows you're not attached to him out of desperation. You are with him because you choose to be. That difference makes your presence powerful. A man wants a woman who brings peace, strength, and certainty, and a woman who values herself naturally brings all 3 because she is whole within. She knows that whether a man stays or leaves, her value remains the same. And that is what makes her unforgettable. Confidence is one of the most powerful forces a woman can carry, and it has a magnetic pull that men feel instantly, even before a single word is spoken. A confident woman walks into a room with an energy that says she is comfortable in her own skin, and that alone changes everything. Men notice how she carries herself, how she speaks, how she reacts, how she owns her presence without needing validation. Confidence isn't about being the loudest or the boldest person in the room. It's about having a calm, steady belief in who you are and what you deserve. When a woman has that, a man becomes intrigued. He begins to admire her from a distance, not because she is perfect, but because she is sure of herself. There is something incredibly attractive about a woman who knows she doesn't have to compete, compare, or chase. Her confidence does the work for her. A confident woman doesn't need to pretend or perform to gain attention. She doesn't rely on approval from others to feel complete. She doesn't shrink to make others feel comfortable. She simply shows up as herself, fully and unapologetically. That authenticity is what draws men in. They want to know her story, her thoughts, how she sees the world. Confidence creates curiosity because it shows depth. It tells a man that this woman has lived, learned, grown, and isn't afraid to stand alone if necessary. And a woman who can stand alone always stands out. Men are especially drawn to confidence because it signals emotional strength. A confident woman doesn't break over little things. She doesn't crumble when someone disrespects her. She removes herself from situations that disturb her peace. She understands that walking away is not loss, it's power. Men notice that, they feel it, and they start treating her differently because they know she's not the type of woman they can play games with. She commands respect without ever raising her voice or demanding it. Her confidence speaks louder than any words could. Confidence also changes the dynamic of attraction. Instead of trying to impress a man, she lets her presence and personality speak for her. That shift puts a man in the position of wanting to win her over. He becomes motivated to step up, to be better, to show effort, to match her level. A confident woman raises the bar without even trying because men instinctively know they must rise to meet her. It's not pressure, it's inspiration. She makes him want to be the best version of himself because she is already operating in her best version. What makes confidence so powerful is that it doesn't rely on external things. It's not about beauty, money, status, or attention. It's an energy, a quiet, unshakable inner strength that radiates outward. Even if she has insecurities, even if she doubts herself sometimes, she moves forward anyway. That courage is what men fall for. They don't fall for the woman who pretends to be perfect. They fall for the woman who knows her worth, even in her imperfections. A confident woman becomes unforgettable because she carries herself with assurance, independence, and grace. And that is a combination no man can resist. Communication is one of the most powerful elements in relationships, yet it's often the most misunderstood. Men don't operate on hints, signals, or silent expectations. They respond to clarity, tone, and emotional intention. A woman who understands how to communicate with honesty and calmness becomes unforgettable because she reaches a man's mind before his heart, and once his mind trusts her, everything else follows. Communication is not just talking, it's connection. It's the ability to express yourself in a way that makes a man feel heard, respected, and safe. When a woman knows how to do that, she becomes the one he opens up to, the one he listens to, and the one he chooses to build with. A woman with healthy communication skills doesn't argue to win. She speaks to understand and be understood. She doesn't yell, insult, or attack. She communicates with intention. Even when she's upset, she knows how to express her feelings without destroying the other person. That emotional maturity is rare, and men recognize it instantly. It makes them lower their walls because they realize she isn't trying to hurt them. She's trying to connect. Men are taught their whole lives to be strong, silent, and guarded. So when he meets a woman who communicates in a way that makes him feel emotionally safe, he sees her differently. She becomes the person he can share his fears, dreams, doubts, and challenges with, things he would never say to anyone else. Good communication also means listening. A woman who listens, truly listens, has a power most people underestimate. When a man feels heard, he feels valued. When he feels valued, he becomes loyal. Many women listen to respond, but a woman with real communication skills listens to understand. She doesn't rush him, she doesn't judge him, and she doesn't make fun of his vulnerabilities. She gives him space to be human. That kind of acceptance is something men crave deeply, but rarely receive. So when they find it, they hold on to it. Another part of communication that draws men in is transparency. A woman who speaks openly about her expectations, boundaries, needs, and feelings without fear makes a man feel grounded. She eliminates confusion. She removes guessing games. She brings clarity where most people bring chaos. And men love clarity. They love knowing where they stand, what you want, and what direction the relationship is moving. It makes them feel like they're building something instead of trying to solve a puzzle. Communication also prevents resentment from growing. A woman who can take a moment to breathe, gather her thoughts, and communicate calmly during conflict shows a level of control that men deeply respect. She doesn't let temporary emotions destroy permanent connections. She doesn't run, hide, or shut down. She talks it through. That emotional intelligence is magnetic because it shows maturity, stability, and trustworthiness. In truth, communication is the bridge that connects two hearts, and a woman who masters it becomes irreplaceable. She becomes the voice he finds comfort in, the presence he finds peace in, and the partner he wants to grow with. Men don't just want beauty or charm, they want someone they can talk to, someone they can trust, someone who gets them. And that's the power of a woman who knows how to communicate. Mystery and independence create a natural pull that makes a man curious, attentive, and deeply interested. A woman who has her own life, her own rhythm, and her own world becomes someone a man wants to understand, not someone he takes for granted. Mystery isn't about playing games or acting distant just to create tension. It's about maintaining a sense of individuality, depth, and self-respect. When a woman doesn't reveal everything about herself immediately, she keeps a man intrigued because there is always more to learn, more to discover, more to unfold. Men love the journey of unraveling a woman's layers, understanding her mind, and being let into her world slowly through trust. That slow reveal makes him value the connection more deeply because he feels he's earning a place rather than being handed one. Independence goes hand in hand with mystery because a woman who has her own goals, passions, and responsibilities naturally creates space. She isn't waiting around for a man to call. She isn't basing her day around his actions, and she isn't sacrificing her dreams to chase someone's attention. That energy is powerful. Men admire a woman who is busy building her life because it tells them she's driven, focused, and capable. She doesn't rely on a man to make her feel complete. She brings completeness to the table. And when a woman is whole on her own, a man feels inspired to rise to her level instead of expecting her to shrink to his. Mystery also shows in how a woman moves emotionally. She doesn't explode over small things. She doesn't reveal every emotion instantly, and she doesn't overshare her life story at the first sign of interest. She expresses herself thoughtfully, giving a man the chance to earn deeper levels of trust. That pacing creates a bond that feels meaningful and secure. A man appreciates when a woman chooses him intentionally, not impulsively. It makes him feel valued, not used. And this type of emotional pacing creates a tension that isn't confusing. It's captivating. He wants to know more because he senses there is more. When a woman is independent, she also sets natural boundaries without needing to announce them. Her life already reflects her priorities. She has responsibilities, dreams, relationships, and commitments outside of romance. And that structure makes a man respect her time. He knows he can't treat her casually because her schedule, her focus, and her energy are valuable. Independence becomes a filter that removes men who approach with low effort, and men who approach with intention rise to the challenge. A man wants to feel like he is partnering with a woman who is already moving forward, not someone he needs to pull along. Mystery and independence don't push a man away, they draw him closer. They create a balance between being open and being self-contained, between being loving and being self-sufficient. A man doesn't fall for a woman who abandons herself for him. He falls for a woman who maintains herself while letting him in piece by piece. That balance makes him chase, invest, and commit because he knows she's not only desirable, she's rare. Genuine kindness and emotional warmth are qualities that leave a mark on a man long after physical attraction fades. A woman who radiates warmth without forcing it, who brings softness without losing strength, becomes unforgettable in a man's mind, in a world where people often guard themselves, act tough, or hide behind ego. A woman who can create emotional comfort stands out like sunlight in a cold room. Men remember how a woman makes them feel more than anything else. And when a man encounters a woman who can calm his storms, who listens without judgment, who treats him with empathy, even when he struggles to express himself, he sees her as someone he cannot afford to lose. Kindness doesn't mean weakness. It doesn't mean allowing disrespect or accepting less than you deserve. True kindness is powerful because it comes from emotional intelligence. It's the ability to stay compassionate without letting people walk over you. A woman with genuine warmth knows how to give love with boundaries, how to care without losing herself, and how to show affection without expecting anything in return. A man feels that balance immediately. He senses that her heart is rare because she can nurture without being needy in love, without losing her identity. That combination makes him feel safe, appreciated, and understood. Men often carry emotional burdens they rarely talk about. Society teaches them to be strong, to hide their fears, to suppress their vulnerabilities. So when a woman comes into his life with a gentle presence, someone who doesn't laugh at his insecurities, someone who doesn't use his weaknesses against him, someone who encourages him instead of tearing him down, he feels a level of emotional relief he didn't even realize he needed. That relief becomes attachment. That attachment becomes loyalty, and that loyalty becomes love. Emotional warmth also shows in the way a woman supports a man's dreams. She doesn't belittle his ambition or mock his goals. She believes in him even when he hesitates to believe in himself. She pushes him forward without nagging. She motivates him without controlling, and she encourages him without making him feel small. A man never forgets the woman who stood beside him when he was still climbing. He remembers her kindness during his struggles far more than any praise he receives in success. Kindness can be seen in small actions too, the way she speaks gently, the way she laughs, the way she treats others, the way she chooses patience over anger. Those small, consistent behaviors create a sense of emotional stability. A man begins to associate her presence with peace, and peace is something men crave deeply, though they rarely say it out loud. When a woman makes a man feel calm instead of chaotic, hopeful instead of drained, supported instead of judged, she becomes a source of comfort he wants to keep close. A woman with genuine kindness becomes irreplaceable because she offers something deeper than attraction. She offers emotional safety. And for a man, that is one of the strongest forms of desire. A woman who knows her purpose becomes unforgettable because purpose gives her direction, strength, an identity that no relationship can define or destroy. When a woman moves through life with a sense of who she is and what she wants, everything about her changes. The way she walks, the way she talks, the way she thinks, and the way she loves. Purpose shapes her character. It gives her confidence that doesn't waver when someone leaves and doesn't inflate when someone stays. A woman with purpose is deeply attractive to a man because she isn't searching for someone to complete her. She's building a life she already feels connected to. And men are drawn to that kind of inner clarity. A purposeful woman doesn't move based on emotions alone. She doesn't chase temporary comfort or settle for short long-term satisfaction. She makes decisions that align with her values, her goals, and her long-term vision. Men respect that because it shows discipline, wisdom, and maturity. She isn't swayed by every compliment, every distraction, or every man who shows interest. She is selective, not because she thinks she's better than others, but because she understands the cost of giving her energy to the wrong person. That sense of purpose creates a natural filter that protects her from chaos and attracts men who have good intentions and ambition of their own. A woman who knows her purpose also carries a different kind of confidence, one that isn't loud or aggressive, but steady and grounded. She doesn't feel threatened by other women. She doesn't compare her life to somebody else's. She isn't chasing validation because her sense of worth comes from within. Men are drawn to that emotional stability. They feel inspired around a woman who knows where she's going because her drive pushes them to look at their own goals. She becomes a mirror reflecting the best potential in him simply by living her truth. Purpose also makes a woman emotionally stronger. She doesn't break easily because she has something to stand on besides love and attention. Even when life gets difficult, she doesn't lose herself. She may fall for a moment, but she rises quickly because she knows what she's fighting for. Men admire that resilience. They admire a woman who doesn't crumble under pressure or lose her identity in heartbreak. That strength gives a man confidence in the relationship because he knows she can be his partner, not his burden. A woman with purpose brings a different kind of energy into a man's life. She's supportive, but she doesn't sacrifice her dreams. She's nurturing, but she doesn't forget her boundaries. She's loving, but she doesn't beg for love. She balances independence with connection in a way that feels refreshing instead of demanding. A man feels safe building with her because she isn't dependent on him for happiness. She shares happiness with him. That difference is powerful. Men want to be part of a woman's journey, not her entire identity. Purpose also makes her conversations deeper, her choices more intentional, and her presence more impactful. When she speaks with meaning. When she loves with depth. When she gives with intention. And when she walks away, she does so with clarity, not confusion. That consistency makes a man take her seriously. He doesn't want to lose her because he knows she won't wait around for someone who isn't ready. She moves forward, and if he wants to be part of her life, he must move with her. A woman who knows her purpose becomes unforgettable because she stands in her own light. She doesn't chase attention. She attracts respect. She doesn't lose herself in love. She leads with strength. And a man who meets a woman like that doesn't just want her, he values her.